Hi, it's Maxine from rootsnorthernireland.com. This is video number 6 in the series, and this one is about the census records here in Ireland and Northern Ireland. Now, it's a tough one for us because census records are pretty sparse, and some, like in the United States, they have them every 10 years, and it's a brilliant resource, and it's so easy to go back every year, and you can find the people, and you can see movement of people. It's brilliant. But here, we're not so lucky. We like to do things the hard way. So it's tough going, doing research in Northern Ireland and Ireland due to the shortage of the census records. Unfortunately, much of all the 19th century census records for Ireland no longer exist. The returns for 1821, 1831, 1841, and 1851 were all destroyed in the fire at the Public Record Office at the start of the Civil War, which was a terrible waste. And then you have the 1861 and 1871, like the censuses that were taken, they just don't exist anymore. So the 1861 and 1871 were destroyed by the order of the government. Really not too sure there. Then you have the 1881 and 1891 census records, and they were actually pulped during World War I. There was a shortage of paper, so they took all the census records and used that paper for whatever reason, but they pulped them all. Again, it's such a terrible shame, and if you could go back and fix history, oh my goodness, wouldn't it be lovely to do that? Additionally, while the rest of the United Kingdom now has access to the 1921 census, which is you're so lucky. Here, due to the Anglo-Irish War taking place, there was no census in 1921 at all. In saying that, there was a census taken in 1926 for the Republic of Ireland, and there was another one in 1926 taken for here in Northern Ireland. So that census does exist, but sadly, because of the 100-year rule, that we won't have access to that until 2026. So have to wait. So basically, the census records we have that depend on are the 1901 census and the 1911. They're great. They are digitized by the National Archives of Ireland, and they're free, available online, searchable online. You can go to www.nationalarchives.ie and do a research, and you'll find the records there. Now, when I mention any websites here on my videos, I do have a list of anything that I list, any websites that I list, I do have on my website, rootsnorthernireland.com. I have a wee link called Helpful Hints, and under that you'll find all the links to all the websites that I mentioned. So take a wee look there, and again, free, have a wee look. All right, now, what records were available in the 1901 census? Okay, first of all is the first name. It's a great document. Like I said, I also have on my website forms to fill out. So if you find your family on the website, and then you can transfer that information to a set form for the 1901 census or the 1911, because they're slightly different. But both those forms are available on my website. Okay, so you have your first name, you have the surname, you have the relationship to the person. One person is the head of the family, and then you have the relationship to that person by everybody. Then you have the religious denomination, which is very important over here because it's not only just between a Roman Catholic and a Protestant. It's a Roman Catholic, and it's differences between Presbyterian and Anglican and Methodist. So those are all different, and it makes it easier to find your information about the church records and stuff like that. Literacy level, so it tells you if they could write and read. Their age, great for finding out when they were born, that type thing. Gender, of course. Occupation, so again, an important thing to have record of what somebody's job was, because if you have a couple of people with the same name at some point in time, that might be a wee bit of a clue to help you decide which one is yours. Marital status, again, it'll tell you if somebody's married or if they're widowed or they're single. Place of birth, big one. If we can find it, if it says their place of birth, that's a fantastic tool again to find it. Where follow that next for the next generation back. Ability to speak or write Irish, if they could do that, that was a thing. Disabilities. So if they were deaf or blind or something like that, that would also be noted in that thing. Now, by the 1911 census, they had a wee bit added on to that. That's what I mean about to be a wee bit different. So in 1911, the census asked married women to state the number of years they had been married, the number of children they had that were born alive, and the number that were still living. So that kind of gives you an idea too of the children. This is a great pointer for the year of marriage and the children and not surviving, where they were buried or whatever like that. So again, because we have limited access to censuses. Our 1901 and 1911 are incredibly important. Can't wait till 1926 comes out, but I guess they're 2026. We'll have to wait for that to come out. But in the meantime, we just plug on, and there are a few substitutes for the census records, and I'll deal with them in a different video, but they're nowhere near as involved as the actual census. So wee bit frustrating, but it is what it is. And if you could go back in time, wouldn't you stop those idiots and burning those papers? It breaks my heart. Anyway, happy days.